Welcome to week 13. The topic was Russia's intervention in Ukraine, the result of the Western aggression. It is yes, because as we see in the map that the highly amount of populated Russian citizens in the Donbas and Crimean regions, and it's very, very open right for Russia to claim their rights in the Ukrainian regions and integration of this country. And second, the Treaty of Conventional Forces in Europe still comes with enigma and unresolved disagreements, like in Moldova crisis as a solid example of Western aggression in the Russian external internal borders, as we see on the map. And also before the crisis, the Ukraine was a peak target for US foreign aid, receiving on average more than 200 million a year. And Watchmaster country was a very, very significant donator in the region. And also the Budapest Memorandum on Security Assurances is another complex that we have to mention, including security assurances and against threats and power usage for territorial integrity of Ukraine, Belarus, Kazakhstan was a reason for Western intervention in the Russian politics and Russian views. In this memorandum, the original signed by three nuclear powers, Russia, UK was in the first block, and the second block, the China and France, these powers was created a different atmosphere for the Russian global perspective, and this made Russia very aggressive. And also the Strategic Arms Reduction Treaty can also seen as American excuse because it was a bilateral treaty between Soviet Union and USA. The reduction and the limitation of strategic offensive arms was the first aim, but the aim exceed is its real root. And the Euromaidan process in 2013 were granted by Ukrainian government's verdict. And it's a very critical question that we have to ask, that deactivating the signing of association agreement with EU countries was a reason for Western aggression to dominate the Ukrainian citizens. In 2013 polls, as we see that less than 50% of the Ukrainian citizens didn't want the EU reforms and EU agenda, so the problematic case is Western aggression here too.
As we know that Western powers supported the Ottomanian movement, which is a movement in the Euromaidan movement. They wanted resignation the president of Ukraine, Yanukovych, and his government, and they demanded more pro-European government in Ukraine. Western countries determined to give financial aid and heavy weapons to Ottomanian activists. As you see, these Western gun companies, Bushmaster, Manurun, and Accuracy International England factory support the activists to provoke Russia. Before crisis, rigid blackmails were made by Western international institutions. Blackmails came from Amnesty International and NATO, which are dominated by the United States and United Kingdom, and United Nations itself. The Organization for Democracy and Economic Development, which also known as the Guam Organization, it consists of four Soviet republics, Ukraine, Georgia, Moldova, and Azerbaijan. Now we are seeing its symbols. In 2003, Guam became an observer in United Nations General Assembly floor. With the support of Western powers, it established military peacekeeping forces in 2007, and Guam peacekeeping forces became intensive conflict between Western powers and Russia. And one of the stimulative examples for Western aggression is the attendance of United States Department of State Representative Steve Mann and his hidden dialogue with other Western countries and Ukraine caused another conflict.
As we see in the picture that Western high technology used for interrupted Russian foreign communication with the other states, and this behavior made Russia angry. That ready missile and technology seen in different Western countries like Germany and etc. This signal intelligence which used by the UK is solid example of Western headmonder policy. And UK was the pioneer carrier of communication data to other Western countries. The root of the conflict for signals intelligence according to predictable external and internal Western policies in the mean of digesting the Russia actions of perceptions. This mental is seen in 1904 Russia-Japanese War and it still continues. In 1904, British ship Diana located in Suarez interrupted Russia and naval wireless signals being sent of the mobilization. And still in Black Sea, we see Western radio wave interventions of Western countries. As we see in the picture, large intelligence UK center, which is inside Echelon, was guilty piece of Western plan. And dislocated transfer circles located and transferred the Russian intelligence documents. The project created in 1960 by Western countries for observing the diplomatic and military Soviet Union communications during the Cold War. So, the located satellites has shown in the map, surprisingly, Canada to Australia. Thanks for your listening and best regards.